am Lane Comacher in Mrs. Kranau's 6th grade math class, and this is my 3rd year doing the GeoTurkey project. This is Gene, the white turkey, and I have a story about him. Have you ever wondered how turkeys make their flocks? It's simple. The turkeys that look almost the same as each other come together and make a flock. This system has 3 flaws, though. Even though the turkeys look the same, they don't usually act the same, and sometimes they don't like each other, which turns into arguing and fighting. The second flaw is that even though family members usually look the same, every once in a while they look somewhat different, so a lot of times brothers and sisters might make it into different flocks, and that also makes it hard because if you like someone in a different flock, if you marry and the flocks separate, then you either have to go on your own or separate with your flock. And the final flaw is if there's this one odd turkey that doesn't really look like anybody else and they can't make it into a flock, then they're a misfit and don't have their own flock. Sometimes there's a couple misfits and they can make their own flock, but when there's only one, then it's hard to really fit in and make your own, and then it's hard to fit in and you have to go alone, which is bad because without other turkeys around you to look for danger, it's easier for predators to sneak up on you. I'm going to tell a story about one misfit. This was the time before gunpowder and bows were invented, and it was really hard for people to hunt turkeys. And because they could fly and run so fast, as long as they saw the danger sneaking up on them, they almost always got away. That's why being a misfit was so dangerous. And I'm going to tell you about one misfit story that turned into a great one. It was finally the day that the egg was hatching. The leader of the white flock had an egg and was going to hatch today. He was a big male turkey that looked really old, even though he wasn't that old. With his white beard and a lot of his feathers turning white, he looked old, but he really was just a white turkey. And then his wife was standing there too. She was a brown turkey with many white speckles all around her body. They were even on her feet. They were both watching one egg they'd had. Usually they had 2 or 3 eggs in the nest at a time, but this couple only had one egg and stopped there, so it was hatching. They watched as it started to crack, and then out came a chick. Beep, beep. It was white. It was white as could be, white as the snow usually was, except for the yellow beak except for the bright yellow beak and bright yellow feet. As the turkey grew up, it had trouble fitting into the normal flock because whenever they played games like tag or hide and seek, he was easy to see against the brown trees and green bushes with his white. He tried to fit in with the other flock, but he really looked super different and had trouble. As the years went on, he started to turn into a misfit, and even though he technically was part of the white flock, he spent most of his time alone in the forest. Soon, when he was old enough and started to grow his feathers, he started to realize that hunters were after him. And one year in Thanksgiving, he and his dad were picking berries, and 2 dogs came after them, and they could hear a human yelling, "No, dogs, stop! Get back here!" The turkeys were able to fly away, and they could see the hunter going, "No, you don't, dog. You were supposed to wait for me." Soon, Gene the turkey realized that this was going to be hard. The next year in November, they had a late snow towards the beginning of November, which really made it harder for the turkeys to get around. The hunters had realized this and decided they were gonna hunt a lot this year since the turkeys weren't gonna be able to run around as fast. This turned out to be good for Gene though, because with all of his white feathers, if he nestled down in the snow, he would look just like any other snow bunch. The same hunter came to the same spot the next year where Gene had been picking berries once again like he had the year before. Except this time the hunter hadn't brought his dog to scare away so it wouldn't scare away the turkeys. As soon as Gene saw the hunter, he froze, thinking, "What do I do? What do I do?" He just started, and then he tried to run away but fell down in the snow, and his feet were stuck under all the snow, and so was his beak. He couldn't see. He was waiting anxiously because he thought the hunter was going to get him. But this time the hunter walked right by him because he couldn't see his white feathers. From then on, Gene loved being white and would hide in the snow as much as possible. That was and he was happy to be different.